Yes, 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 yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of It's Not That Deep, Bro. And we're back with episode 32. That's right. Ølund, what's going on, man?
I'm all right, man.
Good.
You're better than me by the sounds of things.
Oh, I'm perfect.
Peachy.
Oh, yes.
You've got-
Always.
You've got your Rubik's Cube. You've got your juice.
Look, I'm all ready.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Well, then we better fire up the Randy Master.
That's right. For every new listener out there, me and Ølund have this bit of tech called the Randy Master 4000 randomizer.
I love the way that simple Apple script is bigged up.
It's a great bit of tech.
We need to find out who made it. So
we do.
You
This is the second episode we've said that.
You need-
we need to do it.
You need to start doing his branding and commercials because you are the salesman of the year.
I try.
But yes, the Randy Master allows us to make a random selection from a pre-curated list of films that is bubbling over the 2000 film region at this point. So we have a...
We'll see if we can get them all. I mean,
Before
look at Joe Rogan.
Before we die.
He's almost at 2K, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think posts a lot more frequently than us. But with time,
We'll get there.
we shall see.
2,
We
3
are
a week.
just
Boom.
glad to have you here for the journey. But Martin,
Yes, thank you for listening.
I'm going to need a countdown.
You're getting one. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The film we are watching is Enter the Void. 2009 fantasy mystery.
I like that. I like that a lot. Fantasy mystery. That's quite cool. What year?
2009.
2009.
I don't know what director. Let's have a quick gander at a director. It's 2 hours and 40.
Fair enough.
Enter the Void was directed by Gaspar No.
Gaspar, no.
Sex, Money, Power.
Bitches, money, cocaine.
Your big hit. Right. Get yourself a copy of Enter the Void by Gaspar No from 1990. Strap in. Get yourself an easy chair.
And we'll see you on the other side.
It's not that deep, It's not that
All right, you fuckers. You know what time it is. It's not that deep, bro. We just finished watching the film. Oh,
Enter the Void.
Enter the Void, bro. What a
Gas-
film to watch.
Gaspar No.
Gaspar, no.
He
Was
know-
he what?
He knows something. I think you're gonna say that he name dropped himself in the film.
No, I was gonna say, did he play in the film?
I don't know what he looks like, but certainly at one point the name Gaspar was mentioned.
Definitely.
I know
definitely
that. Go on, Martin. What did you think of that film? Well, how did that go down?
It was very graphic, bro.
Sensory.
Very like,
It was in the senses.
very like, this is gonna be like an 18 plus.
I mean, that is like kind of defies classification. A film like that, you know what I mean? You've just got to be like mature.
Oh yeah, 100% to watch this. Like it's so I would say very overwhelming. It's like somebody with fucking epilepsy's nightmare.
Yeah, I
It was very colorful though. I did enjoy the colors all in like
I feel so drained after watching that. It
but
took
it took a lot from me.
It took a
took
lot.
a lot.
It took a lot.
Honestly, I'd never thought that a film could be so like draining.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like usually when again, this is one of the films that has a lot going on and me not knowing where I am, I don't necessarily like it's not really telling me what the film doesn't make me feel like it should be a film.
how do you mean?
It's weird. The whole lights of the trips that he was having at the start felt like the whole thing was a dream.
Okay, yeah, I can see what you mean.
It wasn't like there was like a beginning, middle,
beginning, middle,
end.
end. Yeah.
Nah, it was like all over the place. It was just it felt like it was there but not there as well.
So yeah, that's an interesting point. I would say about this film that I suppose I enjoy it. Enjoy's a funny word though, because I didn't enjoy it, but I enjoy the fact that it relies on the idea that reality, dreams, sleep, electricity, death before birth is all one in the same.
It's all connected.
Yeah, and that's a very Buddhist way of looking at things, and this film name drops the Tibetan Book of the Dead a fair bit, also known as the Bardo Thodol would be the Tibetan name for that book.
Oh, bro.
Midnight Gospel.
No. Just thinking about over point of that film where like the meaning of what just went behind that film. Like what the fuck
So-
just happened? Like my mind is just blown to bits. It's taken so much that I'm like, what did I just watch?
It simply just relies, like the situation that those people are in their lives is just awful.
yeah.
All round, like their family, the family situation, the people they end up involved with, that side of it, and I suppose that acts as the narrative and the story that you cling on to. But really, it could be anyone. This film could be about like anyone, I think. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's more showcasing the connection between life, death, sleep, emotions, electricity. There were lots of things about this film that like I greatly admired, like the way that it managed, like you kind of know that you're seeing things from Oscar's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's floating, the camera's floating around all over the place. You get that sense that you're experiencing like
His ghostly form.
yeah, to an extent, and that's a hard thing to get across. Like
I did enjoy fucking all the fucking overhead shots that
yeah,
they were doing.
fantastic.
Oh, so good. And the way that they would like switch between like houses and it was all like moving from overhead into the next rooms. You know what I mean? Like they just felt so nice to just watch. Do you know what I mean?
And
It's
go over
It's not
the-
like, oh, they have to get the perfect shot. Nah, it's all done from the fucking
that
top.
move of like in like an old film back when sets were used, like wooden sets,
Mm-hmm.
to show the top of the set would all back in the 50s 60s big no because then the audience knows that it's not real.
Yeah.
But the whole
Yeah.
point of this film is to show that maybe reality is not real.
Yeah.
So the fact that the whole film used that technique of like moving from building to building intrinsically kind of points to the fact that
Yeah, we were talking about that
it's not real.
in just at the start. Like, how did they do the whole like mirror scene?
I mean,
Is it all to do with like
I cannot explain it to you
mirrors?
right now, but it is to do with the way Martin is talking about. It's like a classic shot in movies where someone's looking into like a bathroom mirror and you can't see the camera, and I can't
It's interesting.
wrap my head around it right now to explain it, but it's just clever camera placement. That's what it all comes down to.
All mirrors, mate. It's all
Well,
mirrors.
Well, you need a camera to film the scene.
Huh?
You need a camera to film the scene, so a camera's involved. But then
Yeah, I know, yeah,
placement
yeah.
of that camera is massively important.
Yeah, I know that you need the camera to film the scene. I meant like
It's
they're
all mirrors,
using
bro. It's
they're
all
using-
mirrors.
they're using mirrors and the camera to sort of like align it.
Find the perfect
Yeah.
angle where you can do that.
So
Harry Barden has explained it to me before.
I might ask him.
There's even an extension of that shot in we spoke about it the other day, the film Contact.
The film Contact.
Yeah, I was talking to you about a game that isn't called Contact, but I always thought it was called Contact, and you kept searching Contact, and you found the film Contact, which
Yeah.
led me to talk about it. In that film, there's a shot where, okay, so imagine, okay, I'm going to have to ruin the shot for you. When you see it, it's bonkers, but imagine a bathroom mirror, right? Now imagine there's a hallway, okay, behind the mirror. The not behind the mirror, in like leading, you'd walk down a hallway into the room where the bathroom cabinet was on the wall,
Yeah.
okay? There's a camera placed so that it's looking at the mirror, and what you see is whoever is coming towards the bathroom cabinet down the hallway. You understand that?
So the camera's like on top, so it's looking at a mirror, then into.
Yeah, a mirror that's there, and the mirror's pointing that way.
Yeah.
So you see whoever's coming down the hallway.
Yeah.
But you don't know that it's a mirror when you first see the shot. So you see this character running down the hallway, and it tricks your brain because that's like a impossible shot. But because it's so short, you forget about it, and she runs down the hallway and then opens the bathroom cabinet, which moves the whole of what you thought the scene was.
Yeah.
You get so
Yeah.
it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really clever little technique like that. But there-
Honestly, the whole every sex scene just felt so fucking weird. It felt like every single one was rape.
why'd you feel that?
Except for the last few scenes where they're in the love hotel, but I I don't know why. It felt like they were rushed into it, and it was just like, oh, we just gotta do it because I'm in
I mean,
Japan.
I
You know what I mean?
I'm in Japan. I feel like everyone in that film, Oscar.
It's not just because they're in Japan, but because she was like flown to Japan, and then
She's
your
also
brother
got like
Hall died,
crazy.
and you're like, what?
She's got like crazy childhood trauma anyway.
Yeah.
And this film spends. I mean, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's explained a little bit by
Quite a lot, actually, not a little bit.
but it's just a little bit when you actually have read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, because to explain that is, you can go and do university courses and they still don't know what it is. It's a book that the ancient Tibetan people wrote of their knowledge of what happens after death. And like ancient Egyptians have one exactly the same
How do they know what's after death?
because they are in communication with the gods. That's something that we do not have now. But then a certain element of belief has to come into play. But all these fucking Tibetan monks still to this day believe it and fucking accept it as fact. So
Maybe they should try it.
that's the premise. What? Try what?
Talk to the gods.
Oh, I think they do. I
As
mean,
in, yeah.
I could
it's
get
whether the
into-
gods talk to them.
I could get into there's whole different sects of Tibetan Buddhist monks, the red hats and the yellow hats, and the yellow hats believe one thing and the red hats believe another thing, but they like fight one another and over
I
gods.
thought you were gonna say they coincide, but
No.
it's never like that when you're bringing in two colors.
Oh, it is like that, and
Yeah.
I'm talking way above my pay grade and here, but what I'm saying is I'm talking about something that I know very little about.
Fair enough.
But
At least you're honest.
yeah, they talk about, they act as if they are still talking to gods, and that's why they spend all their time sitting there, meditating, contemplating,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. That this film is really like Buddhist in that sense, but I don't know, maybe they can communicate with something because they don't have all this fucked up shit going on in their lives that they have to work through. They've never experienced trauma or anything like that, so they just have to, you see what I mean? Like she is making poor decision after poor decision because she's just moving around, not solving her problems.
And that's got to do with her childhood trauma.
Well,
Obviously, because it's
it's highlighted in the film, like the whole seeing her parents die thing didn't do her much good, and then being
taken away from your brother.
being taken away from the brother and all of that.
I wonder why that happens though.
That happens all the time in like foster places.
You get taken away. Oh,
You
that
get
would
split
be,
up, and one family wants one but not the other, and stuff like that.
That would be awful.
It's quite a common theme, but it is terrible, and she never really stops by the looks of things
No,
to take a
no.
second.
I felt like their relationship was so fucking weird.
Oh yeah, it will be again, because when you experience some sort of joint trauma like that and then have like a bond, then you're going to act, number one, when you're disconnected from that person or that situation that you once had, you're going to like romanticize it when you're away from it. Like it was great. I miss my brother. He was so great and all of this. And from a young age, you got to try and understand and not instantly be like, that's wrong. It's obviously wrong, like the way that they're acting.
No, I understand. I'm not saying like it was weird. I didn't say it was wrong. Like they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, I mean,
Like
they shouldn't be able to do whatever the fuck they want, but not. It's not right or wrong. That was the wrong term. Like it shouldn't be dismissed as just like sick in the head or like fucked or whatever.
no. But I never felt that way towards it. I just thought it was like a bit weird. But I get what you mean with the whole. You gotta understand, going through joint trauma. It's sort of like brings you closer, but at the same time,
And it's all she has left of her family.
yeah, and then get taken away from her only family to then be reunited. The only reason I say it was weird, it was the whole like
I mean, it is
kissing
weird.
thing.
It is weird. Like it
Like,
just straight up is weird.
It's just is like you wouldn't just because you've missed your brother.
You can't fathom that, like the level of fucking trauma that exists in this fucking film is like, I can't begin to put myself in that situation, so I can't really say how I'd act at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I fucking
I
might.
feel like I would have acted the same way as him, just because like he just lets it happen. He's not like, oh, stop. Do you know what I mean? He just like,
Yeah, he's
oh,
probably
cool.
processing why the fuck it's happening as well.
Yeah.
And like trying to wrap his own head around it.
So it's like we just gotta be like, okay, cool, collected.
Yeah, you've just
Nice.
got to think about why that's happening more than like the actual event of it happening. You know what I mean? Like, why would she feel the need to do that? And she's obviously like crazy. Her brother like sorted out. He's like the big hero.
Yeah.
He got the money to bring her to where he was and reunite them and like look after her. And the minute that he can't do that, she goes to that awful guy who offered her the job at the strip club. But that's a screwed up situation in itself because sure he'll look after her, but if she ever wants to leave, that's all she's
That's a
got.
no. Yeah.
It's all she's got. So he'll either kill her or something, like fuck her up and make her stay, or if he does let her go, there's fucking no one for her apart from Oscar's kind of friend, which is the film starts with her saying he's not a friend,
Yeah, he's just
a junkie.
A junkie.
Yeah.
A bigger junkie than you.
Which is
Which he then realizes like, oh shit, yeah, maybe because they talk. Obviously, they have that whole scene where they talk about the Book of the Dead for like Jesus, like 15 minutes.
but
at
he's a little
least.
bit he actually probably is a bit smarter.
Yeah, 100%. Though, whoa, you see it throughout the film that he knows what he's doing. He's done this before.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not his first rodeo.
Yeah, definitely. And he
knows what he's doing.
somehow, I mean, and likable. None of them are admirable people. None of them are like characters that I'd want to hang out with, you know, sort of thing. They all terrified me, to be honest, in the way, like.
Well, I don't think Victor terrified me. I just feel like he's a snake. Like, why would you do that? I know why he did it. Because
he's so much of a pussy that it scares me. Like, I wouldn't want to be around him. Like, because I wouldn't know how he'd be acting and shit. Like, he might be putting other people in danger because he's such a pussy.
I get that, but what? Yeah, you don't be scared of like somebody being.
It's just shit I don't need in my space.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to fuck with people like that.
That doesn't make you. That shouldn't make you scared anyway. Because like, because you already know what he is, you should like once.
I suppose, but
you're like,
he was like a key part of Oscar's operation where I would never have anyone that close to me that was like that sort of thing. So that's like a
spineless. But he did fuck up first.
What did he do?
Fuck his mum.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to be friends with a person,
don't do that.
That's the last thing you're gonna do if you're trying to be like mates with this person. And especially if you do it, I'm not saying anyone out there should be doing this, but especially if you do it, don't tell him. What, like,
no,
obviously he was more like coerced into this sexual act by his friend's mum than he engaged in it. I'm sure if she didn't say shit, it would have
not happened.
It would have not happened.
Yeah,
you know
it's definitely like instigated, I suppose, by her as the older, more experienced party.
Yeah.
But
taking advantage of this young boy.
Yeah, one could argue that, but then I guess Oscar is a drug dealer by that point and like renting his own place, so he's like an adult. You know, he can make decisions for himself.
Yeah,
but
no,
then,
it's true.
On the flip side, he's lost his fucking mum, and you know, there's loads of like sexual fantasies that play out through this film that basically because there's like the mummy issue thing is like a stereotype of why a couple might get divorced. The woman might say, "Oh, he's got mummy issues."
Yeah.
That like stems from. And did Tampopo end with the breastfeeding as well?
Yeah,
it did, and this ended with the breastfeeding too, and that's such an important moment at that stage for children because we saw in this film the silence, then the cord's cut, then the crying begins because that cord provides warmth, nutrients, food, everything, and all of a sudden that's cut. And what's the first instinct of the creature once that cord's cut?
Food.
Crying.
Whoa.
It just bursts out crying.
Yeah,
So life is suffering, and we can fucking accept that. You know, that's evidence of that occurring right there. And the only pacifier, literal pacifier for your first taste of suffering is a tit. It's a nipple.
A tit.
So
A teat.
that's always going to be very close or just deep in the subconscious of anyone that has been through that experience. Then to have the archetype of the mother and the father taken away at such a young age, and to see it happen, all the kind of actions and the way that these people are behaving become explainable.
True, but what is it trying to like? I feel like it's in my head. It's trying to say this. Don't be a drug dealer. This shit is real. You know
I
what mean?
think
Like, and it's also like DMT is a trip.
Well, I think the physical aspects of this film are inconsequential, meaning that like could have been anyone anywhere, and half
be happening right
of this
now.
story could have been told still,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But there's another half of this. It is kind of, you know, you made 2 points there, one about the DMT and one about the drug dealing. There is like 2 different things going on in this film.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Oscar's life, and then you've got Oscar's death, I suppose. You know, what happens after he dies.
And she does say in the film, she's like, I would have killed myself, but I feel Oscar is around here somewhere.
Yeah, she could feel the presence, and you see the many different. It's kind of spoke about a bit in this film as well, but it's also like a real common thing that's said about death is that you see your whole life
Yeah.
played out on some sort of cinema screen or whatever. And that's kind of what this film was showing in my eyes. It was like the computer going into like debug mode or like
Overdrive.
recovery, like going through its BIOS. You know what I mean? Or it reminded me a little bit of like, basically this film's trying to say that the universe is a machine, and it is like a network, if you will. And
As soon as you're out of this body, get sucked in and put back into another one.
yeah, but then there's also like this process of stripping your personal ego that happens, and that's why you see your whole life. I think so I don't know, if you think about like when you close your eyes, you have a sense of your body. I imagine that gets stripped away. So if you've got no body, then what are you? Well, you'd say I'm Martin DeVerge. Well, what is Martin DeVerge? Well, if there's no body, sort of thing. So then that would start to disappear. This feeling of I am Martin DeVerge. So without that term, that title, Martin DeVerge, what are you? You just say I am. And I think that is the state that this film was trying to show the journey to. And
To the I am.
yeah, to the I am. That's how they'd say it, I suppose. And that if I understand correctly, which I probably don't, is one of the main ideas of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is the almighty power of the I am, and how ego, stripping away ego. The book was crazy popular in the 1960s when LSD was first popping, and it was like there'd be
It does look very hippie.
Yeah, there was this guy called Timothy Leary who wrote his version. Well, he like wrote a commentary on the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and he basically said the point of the book is to have ego death. You're meant to do LSD
death.
and kill your ego, but that kind of led to the crazy stories of these like hippies taking loads of acid and jumping off a building. you're not meant to kill your ego. Well, have fun. You can try and kill your ego, but you're not going to have a very fun time like existing on this plane. You might like be happy once you've left your body or whatever, but like you're not going to have a great time if you just do acid all the time.
Yeah, but like, in what way do they mean ego? Because like, if you had such a big ego in the first place, or any sort of ego, you would be this person that's like a sorry for the language,
Go
a
on.
parasite in
Mm.
society.
That was like, you say much worse things than the word parasite.
I know, but I sort of thought of that as I just went along. I was gonna say something different, but then
Oh, I saw.
I thought of parasite, and I was like, I'm
That's
gonna say that
fine. Let's
instead.
roll with parasite. How were you? What context were you using the word parasite in?
That like, if you got such a like big ego and you're trying to like kill it, I feel
Mm.
like if your ego's that big, you wouldn't be doing that. Do you know what I mean? Because
Ye-
you're like, I'm the shit all the time. Because your ego's like,
Well, you've got to.
huge.
It's about like ego management,
Mhm.
really. But
yeah, of course. But like, obviously, there's a certain like amount of ego that you can have before you can like, you stop believing in anything else and just believe that this personality that you have will carry you through everything.
mm,
And then once you get to that point, it's just like there's no coming back from that.
well,
So like,
death will bring you back eventually. 'Cause
yeah, of course, but like, if you were to go to like, you would have to be at this right place to
Mm.
be able to just jump off a building to like let go of your ego. Do you know
Oh,
what I
to
mean? Like,
confidently like to do it. Be like, well, they say it in this film, like death would be the ultimate trip
yeah,
based upon the release of
and
DMT that we
they
know
say
about.
that's how you feel. Well, when you have DMT, that's the same.
They say you experience that in under 10 minutes,
Yeah,
but they
and it's like death.
so Timothy Leary probably read the book correctly, like it does. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is to describe what happens after death. Leary took it as advice for living. You know what I mean? Like your ego probably, it makes sense that your ego would
So
get stripped away after you die.
completely switch it on everyone else.
Yeah, but then Leary was like, oh, so because our ego apparently disappears after we die, we should get rid of it now. I don't even know if that's like he was saying directly kill it, but that's the way that it was definitely heard by the hippies of the 1960s. It was like
Kill it
yeah,
now.
yeah, kill your ego.
Kill yourself.
So, but now it's more be aware because, as I say, the Book of the Dead does talk about ego dissolution, but it's more bear that in mind that if all this spiritual stuff is true, then we have that boundary to come to, like stripping yourself of I am. Stripping yourself of your ego, your name, who you
Yeah.
are, the physicality of it all.
But that's how it's weird. It's
Mm.
weird. That's how monks do it.
Yeah.
Like you literally strip everything.
And you just
like,
sit.
no hair,
Yeah.
and you just sit there and you
And focus on the breath. And that
Yeah.
is literally it. And they must be on a different level. Like, if they told me they were communicating with gods, I wouldn't be able to be like, no, you're not, because I don't know any individuals that have solely lived in a monastery and meditated for their whole lives. You know what I mean? So
Yep. you can't question it. It's
no,
like
not at all.
unquestionable
And-
until you try it.
And the whole death thing, well, death like is inherently scary. You know,
Part of life, isn't it?
well, this is what I'm. Recently, I've been thinking about it a fair bit, and I have like pre-game anxiety for like anything that I'm like, even if it's just like meeting up with someone,
Yeah.
like anxiety, butterflies in the stomach. So it's like the same feeling for death. It's like this big party, but the only thing about death is that we don't know where it is. We don't know what time the party starts at. We don't know who's hosting. I don't.
Whoa, death is hosting, obviously.
Well, yeah, but we've made the character of death up to make it seem a bit more like something we can cling on to. But really, he don't exist. Like the.
How do you know that?
Well, I don't know. But
We don't
So
know.
this is what I'm saying, that we know none of that.
So little.
If he does or if
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the ultimate pre-gig. It's like the main party that you'll be rocking up to in your life is your death. Because you kind of know everything else that's going to happen to an extent. Like, you know what's possible in the human realm.
Weird question to ask you.
Try me.
But if
This is going to be good. This is going to be good, people. It's worth the wait.
what,
I can see it on
what
his
do
face.
you mean?
I can see it on his face. Don't let me distract you, man. Don't, come
Of
on.
course not. I'm just trying to think of a way. It's just a weird.
Come on,
I don't
just
know.
spit it out.
So, like, if you were going to like you were just saying to a party and like obviously it's a party of your death, how would you be rocking up? Would you be rocking up early or
So
late?
hang on, just to clarify, are you talking about me rocking up to my funeral? Are you
No, talking about like if like you just said it
that
was
situation there?
yeah.
So
If it was like a party, would it be like you turning up like, oh, I'm cool?
well, it's kind
I'm
of
late.
like a surprise party, isn't it? Where someone convinces you that you're doing something else, and then you walk into a room with them, and everyone goes, "Surprise!
You're dead."
Yeah. So that I think that's the only way one can. No one anticipates death. It's the ultimate surprise party, and that's why it's so gut wrenching and anxiety inducing. I don't know when it's coming.
You can.
Well, yeah,
Sometimes you can know.
you can predict. Yeah, but you can't.
You can't predict it, but
you
you
can't to the second ever,
but
ever,
there
like
is
that,
there.
ever.
Huh?
ever. You can never ever predict death to like the minute that it's going to happen.
I feel like you could
No.
yourself if you know when your time is coming.
I think you know that something is up, certainly, but I think the actual.
There's a point where you know that you're gonna go to sleep and never wake up.
What do you
There-
mean?
As in, there's gotta. I don't know this per se, but there's gotta be points in a old person's life where they've lived everything they can possibly live.
Jesus, man, I got a sad.
What?
A lot of people don't do that.
What do you mean? No,
The
I know that-
majority of people don't do everything they want to do in life
No,
and die
I-
still
yeah,
wanting to do things.
I get it, but there's sometimes what they do. There's gotta be obviously there's that like maybe 1 in a million that will be in.
You're always like, or any situation you ask me ever, it's
Yeah.
always these proper unique situations.
It's
like,
gotta- yeah,
and then
but-
we whittle it down. I'm like, well, that couldn't happen. And you're like, okay, but still, this.
Yeah, you gotta but you're saying no, like it's like
No,
that's it, done. Or you can't predict the exact second. No, you can't predict
just
it
not been
if
done.
you're alive. But if you're the one dying, I feel like of old age, after you've done everything you possibly want to do in your life, there's gonna be a point where you'll be like, this is it. I'm at peace now. It's coming.
So
You know exactly it's coming.
that
And that has happened.
when, where, example, find me.
I can't. Well, not right now, but I will.
Anytime,
I
hit
will.
me up, man, because I.
But the thing is, you can't tell that because you can't say to
Well,
the other
I can
person,
only
it's
use-
coming now.
I can only use the data set that
Yeah.
we have as human beings, which is other people's experiences that
Yeah.
have been documented. So, no, in the same way that I cannot confirm that people haven't spontaneously combusted, people haven't turned pink for a hot second, or flown. No, I can't confirm that somebody hasn't completely anticipated their death after a long life of rich achievements.
Mm-hmm.
But based upon the scientific and historical background and facts that we have, one can make a fairly estimated guess that death is, unfortunately, and quite scarily, a surprise to most. That's what I would say if I was professionally speaking upon the situation you just gave me.
Well, it won't be a surprise to most. Think about it. People with cancer.
So,
Like, listen, all right?
yeah, but you've misunderstood what I've said.
What?
The moment of death,
Yeah.
like that bit, like I went limp then, people. Like the
Okay.
minute that you can know that some shit's up, you can know that something's happening, but you only die once, so how do you know when it's coming? You know what pain is, but pain doesn't always come along with death. You know what sleep is, but sleep doesn't always come along with death. So how can you be 100% sure that the sleep that you were going into or the pain that was coming was the death one? You wouldn't know until you were dead. How the hell do you wake up dead?
Yeah. I'm not saying that somebody will tell you, but like there must be something.
The pain or the want to sleep that I just said, but they
Yeah,
don't
so-
always come with death. So how do you know that that sleep
Yeah.
that you're going into or the pain that has started in your body is the death one? That's what I'm saying. Like, you've had pain before, you've slept before. So how do you know that there's other things coming? It'd have to be, and shouting out our good friend Tom Ack, it would have to be a foreign feeling. That's what it would have to be. A feeling, because that is what death is. It's inherently foreign by design because we've never experienced it.
Seems like a dark thing to say, but I feel like if you were killing yourself, you would definitely know when death is coming.
I will completely contend that
That is like
when you
fact.
are firing a bullet to your head,
You know the second
then you know.
you know. Like that. So it can be plausible. It can be.
But what I would,
like
but what I would then state is that if everything that Enter the Void has put forward regarding Tibetan Buddhism and the way of the universe, choosing that method of ejecting one's soul from the body may not be looked upon too positively once you get up to upper management. That's all. That's all I would suggest.
Like that's fine.
I
I always go with what like you've said to me, and I always like analyze what you say to me.
We get
and then it gets to a point where you're like,
we play
I
semantics.
think of something, and then you're like, oh well, let me just say something completely different because you made a good point right there. So
yeah, that's
okay,
called
cool.
that's called I had the word. That's called quantifying things, I believe.
Okay, that's fair, but like you
And
can see my point that there can be sometimes where you know
there's that one
death,
time, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would actually the situation that you initially presented is a better way to leave your body. That's a lot more in line with, and as I said way at the beginning of all of this, I'm just using the data set provided. I fully believe that there have been monks and
but I'll
many
find
different
something.
people
I'll
that
find something.
have lived full, rich lives and anticipated death. I believe that.
Okay.
You know?
So
I just
what I
like...
just said was
You were
agree
right.
With you agreed.
We all agree with Martin.
You agreed with what I said. You should have said that from the beginning.
No, because I love the discussion, man.
The discussion.
That's
what's
what
it
the
is.
beef? What's
you
the
want
beef?
me to think about shit that that is not in your immediate like brain waves, and then I do think about it, and then you're like, okay, I agree with that. Cool. but we could have like
not had a we could have had a 25-minute shorter podcast is what Martin's saying. But you let us know if you thought that this discussion was worth having, because I believe that this is the real meat and veg of the podcast.
What? You finding out that there's other ways of not just that, but
me and Martin discussing
yeah.
hypotheticals and semantics that the film has triggered. That is the reason I do this shit. That's the reason I set it up.
Okay, that's great. I just wanna. I like it how I'm always the one that you come up with a point and I'm like, that sounds too fishy. I need to dig deeper into that situation. And then you're like, no. It's this way. And then I'm like, well, if you say that, no. What I meant was this.
You're a good fact checker, I suppose. Well, no, it's like making sure that my argument's watertight.
Yeah.
I like that. Like,
like next time you talk to a person about this, it's waterproof. You know what I mean? Like, it's lava proof, it's fucking airproof, whatever, dust proof, the whole shebang. All right. So then you don't have to think about other ways to explain what you just said.
I recommend a straight jacket in a padded room for watching Into the Void. That's what I'd say.
What do you mean?
Normally I say an easy chair and something nice to eat. But this time I would be like, just be careful.
Look.
Watch this film like...
with a grain of salt. Do not do any hard drugs and watch this film. Or do... whatever your preference is.
In the last episode, I said that the Big Sick didn't challenge me, and I kind of got my tail in between my legs a little bit here because we're sat in the early hours of a Friday morning, and I feel like my head has been put through a blender. You know, that was more
watching this.
That was more.
This was like
soups up for 3
Holy
hours.
Mountain mixed with
Demon Lover.
Demon Lover.
Yeah.
It's like both of them together. I'm like, I know what's happening, but why is it happening twice?
The wheel, man. Dharma. It's a Buddhist word.
I know.
It means wheel.
I know.
I
didn't know it meant weird, but I know it's a...
It might not mean wheel. I might have really fucked that up, but I'm pretty sure it means wheel.
I thought you said weird.
No, wheel. Yeah, very Buddhist film, but it's not like for the faint of heart or for the innocent or
definitely not.
You know, it's
don't watch it with your kids.
It's gonna weigh on my mind, put it like that, for some time.
Well, thank you guys.
But yeah, thank you so much
for listening. Follow us in that regular social media stream.
Follow us
services
on the regular.
YouTube, Instagram at MIPLTD, our website mipltd.org.
You know it.
It's all juicy. It's all coming in. All coming in. All right. Thank you. Any closing thoughts, Jack?
Life's a beach, as they say. I need to get my head on a pillow.
Fair enough. Please discuss with us what you thought of the film if you've watched it, or what you think about us talking about this film in the comment section below.
I'd like to hear your shopping list too, to be fair.
Okay.
Anything you want to tell us. Peace.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
What's the use when it seems like more time spent without the people that you're meant to? Can't refuse to take a stand when your life ended long before the times we refuse to take a stand when your life ended long before the times we met you. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. Let's carry this weight for shoulders that have had enough. What's the use when it seems like more time spent without the people that you're meant to? Can't refuse to take a stand when your life ended long before the times we met you. What's the use when it feels like? What's the use when it feels like? What's the use when it feels like more time spent without the people that you're meant to?